Ari McDonald pretty much was let go by the team. Now, I'm here to tell you, she has signed to a new team yet.
They can't cut anyone to sign Ari McDonald. The Fever can re-sign Ari McDonald for the rest of the season.
Stephanie White just broke the barrel of bad news to the fan base that is Ari McDonald having to be released.
There is not great news when it comes to her.
Indiana Fever wasted no time. They have already released Ari McDonald. I believe Ari McDonald did a gentleman's handshake with the Indiana Fever front office.
Something explosive just happened in Indiana. The Fever have made a shocking roster decision, and it's sending shockwaves across the WNBA.
If you want to give Caitlin Clark a technical foul for the reaction, ball's here. The ball is here. Caitlin Clark's head is here. The ball she's nowhere near the ball and she goes for the eye. JC Young claws her in the eye. Mabry just goes and shoves her onto the ground.
After weeks of mounting tension, drama, and even physical altercations involving Caitlin Clark, the franchise just fired a major player from their roster, and fans are furious.
Ari McDonald pretty much was let go by the team. Now, I'm here to tell you, she has signed to a new team yet.
This isn't just a regular midseason roster move. This is personal. This is about loyalty, performance, and standing up for your teammates when things get ugly.
Ari McDonald shows out for the Indiana Fever.
The Indiana Fever look like a totally different team since Ari McDonald's took over.
The name Ari McDonald, a player who gave everything in her short time with the team and ended up being the one sacrificed in the chaos.
Ari McDonald has done just a tremendous job filling in for the team and really has changed things.
Today, we break down exactly what went down behind closed doors, what this means for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and why the WNBA may have just lit a fire it can't control.
Ari McDonald let go by the team.
Out there saying, what are the Fever going to do with Ari McDonald? They can't actually keep her. There is only one scenario where they can keep her.
Let's dive in because this story is way bigger than just basketball.
Ari McDonald and the Indiana Fever, can they keep her?
Ari McDonald and Caitlin Clark has fans up in arms.
Let's start with the moment that blindsided fans and shocked insiders across the league. Ari McDonald being released by the Indiana Fever.
She can score in the paint. She can score from outside of the arc. She's just a really great passer. This is the type of thing I think that they were envisioning when thinking of playing Caitlin Clark off ball, because she mentioned wanting to play off ball.
In the 2 games that she appeared in, McDonald has carved out her own space in fans' heart.
Ari wasn't just another bench player. She came in on a hardship contract and played like she belonged, bringing energy, defense, and hustle the Fever desperately needed.
52 points is the lowest point total that Chicago has had since 2011. So it's actually tied for the 5th lowest, apparently, in point total in team history in a regular season game. And the Indiana Fever has beaten the Chicago Sky by a combined 62 points in 2 games.
In just a few games, she was averaging 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 steals, outperforming most backups and even outshining some starters. Fans started rallying around her. She was earning her spot. But then came the return of 2 key players, Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark. And suddenly, Ari was the odd woman out. Why? It wasn't about performance. It was about numbers.
So the one negative of the Indiana Fever getting Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark back is that Ari McDonald cannot play. Sophie Cunningham has been cleared. Caitlin Clark has been cleared. You have now got like USA Today's WNBA media.
The WNBA's strict roster limits meant that once Sophie and Caitlin were cleared, someone had to go. And despite being the spark off the bench, that someone was Ari. It didn't help that Brianna Turner, who has struggled all season, was kept on the roster. Many insiders believe her spot should have been the one sacrificed, but the Fever reportedly wanted to avoid a locker room backlash or damaging future free agency optics by cutting a vet like Turner.
A lot of fans is kind of not happy with this.
Maybe she will guard Caitlin before the free throw line this time. Welcome, Ari. She doesn't have to guard Caitlin between the free throws anymore.
So Ari was quietly released to meet the 10-player minimum roster rule. But here's where things get messy, because this wasn't just a technical move. This was an emotional blow to a fan base already watching Caitlin Clark get targeted on the court, while the team fails to protect its own stars.
We see Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul after getting poked in the eye and then shoved to the floor, and Marina Mayhew doesn't even get thrown out of the game. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark.
Ari showed fire. She showed loyalty. She even refused to sign with other teams, hoping the Fever would bring her back after the 10-day wait. That's rare. That's loyalty. Instead, she was let go right after the Sophie Cunningham enforcer moment, where she nearly stormed the court to defend Caitlin Clark after yet another dirty play. The message to the fans? Even if you fight for your team, you might be the one they cut. And that has fans asking, is the Fever protecting the wrong people?
Caitlin Clark has brought to bear at the WNBA, I think it is extraordinary.
One, because she's really good, and you're, with any great player, you're going to try to intimidate physically if you can. And two, because she brings it on. She talks trash. She lets you know when she's putting it in your eye. She walks around the floor, whether it's with the referees, whether it's with the opponent, whether it's with anybody, as if she's the baddest woman on the planet, if not on the court. And she has the ability to back that up. I don't have any issue with that.
No player in WNBA history has had to deal with this, what she's dealing with.
Behind the scenes, the Indiana Fever locker room has become a pressure cooker. And Caitlin Clark is right at the center of it all.
Caitlin Clark is the absolute difference maker for the Indiana Fever.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar globally.
Let's be honest, Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the headline, the ticket seller, and the lightning rod for criticism. Every game she plays, she's drawing national attention. And every time she gets fouled hard, cheap-shotted, or poked in the eye, fans are wondering one thing: where's the team to back her up?
Ari McDonald.
She's not going to fix the problems for this team. And also, I think the biggest problem with this team is not their offense. I think it's the lack of defense. So you have a lack of defense on this Indiana Fever team. I don't think the offense is the issue. I think the defense is the issue. If you look at when the Indiana Fever had Caitlin Clark out there, they were 2-2. The reason they were 2-2 is because this team has bad defense, even when you have the best offensive player in the league on your team, like a Caitlin Clark.
Now that Ari McDonald is officially off the Fever's roster, the big question becomes, what happens next? Well, here's the catch. According to WNBA rules, once a player is waived from a hardship contract, the team must wait 10 full days before they can re-sign them. That's 10 days where Ari is a free agent, and that's 10 days too long for a player with her talent. And guess what? Other teams are already circling. Analysts are saying it loud and clear.
So for Indiana Fever fans, the return of a healthy roster is supposed to be good news. But it comes with a tough side effect, the likely release of guard Ari McDonald, who has quickly become a fan favorite during the team's injury-stricken start to the season.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
She's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Ari is starter material on multiple rosters right now. Teams like the Chicago Sky, Dallas Wings, and even the Golden State Valkyries are in the market for a spark plug guard who can score, defend, and bring intensity off the bench.
And when Caitlin Clark does get back from being injured with her left quad strain, Ari McDonald would be an asset to the team, because there has been this idea of having Clark play off ball a little bit, just a few minutes a game like she did over at Iowa. So this is like nothing new. It's just new to the Indiana Fever.
The Sky, in particular, have a point guard gap that Ari could fill tomorrow. So let's ask the real question. Is the Fever even serious about bringing her back? Or was this a calculated decision to quietly move on?
Ari McDonald is currently signed to an end-of-season hardship contract, emergency hardship contract. And that is because the team was down under 10 players, so they qualified for an emergency hardship contract.
The front office hasn't said much, but reports suggest the team could re-sign her in July. That's assuming she doesn't get scooped up first. But here's the brutal truth. If Ari signs elsewhere and shines, it's going to be a massive embarrassment for the Fever organization.
She will probably be returning for the game against the Connecticut Sun, that's on the 17th.
They'll have let go of a player who not only outperformed expectations, but one who showed loyalty, leadership, and chemistry with their star, Caitlin Clark. And speaking of Clark, this decision impacts her more than people think.
And when Caitlin Clark does get back from being injured with her left quad strain, Aari McDonald would be an asset to the team because there has been this idea of having Clark play off ball a little bit, just a few minutes a game like she did over at Iowa. So this is like nothing new. It's just new to the Indiana Fever.
Aari was one of the few guards who seemed to sync with Caitlin's style of play. She understood the pace. She ran the break. She defended the opposing guards, giving Caitlin room to breathe.
Aari McDonald is currently signed to an end-of-season hardship contract, emergency hardship contract, and that is because the team was down under 10 players, so they qualified for an emergency hardship contract.
Losing Aari isn't just a roster move, it's a chemistry breaker. So now we wait. We're in the 10-day window. Will Indiana swallow their pride, make a bold cut, maybe even release Brianna Turner or another underperformer, and bring Aari back? Or will they let her walk and watch another team turn her into a star?
Aari McDonald shows out for the Indiana Fever.
The Indiana Fever look like a totally different team since Aari McDonald took over.
Aari McDonald has done just a tremendous job filling in for the team and really has changed things.
She actually might be more desirable than she was before. We want Aari McDonald on the Indiana Fever.
The next few days will tell us a lot, not just about Aari McDonald's future, but about how serious this franchise is about winning and about protecting its own.
Oh man, I was very anxious. Like it felt weird, sitting at home just watching the games this time of the year. But when I got the call, I was very excited, very blessed, and it was a humble experience to join a team like the Fever. And I'm just excited and I'm ready to compete and just win. I was a slight bit anxious, but again, it was my first day. I wasn't trying to overthink because that's when turnovers happen or you just mess up. But just constantly playing, just not thinking too much and just calling what I'm comfortable with. But the girls did a great job with just, cheering me on and being very accepting and welcoming.
Let's zoom out for a second, because what's happening with the Indiana Fever and Aari McDonald isn't just about one player. It's exposing a much larger crisis inside the WNBA, a crisis of priorities, a crisis of protection, and a crisis of identity.
On the hardship deal, McDonald must be cut when the Fever get back to 10 available players.
Right now, Caitlin Clark is the face of the league, whether people like it or not. She's brought in record-breaking TV ratings, filled arenas, and pulled in an entirely new generation of fans.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
But instead of being protected, celebrated, or even supported, she's being targeted. Physically, verbally, night after night, and through all of it, the silence from the league office is deafening.
By Marina Marbury.
She is a dirty player.
Marina Mabry, you dirty slime ball player, you come and blindside Caitlin Clark.
The damn game is still on.
JC Sheldon claws her in the eye. Mabry just goes and shoves her onto the ground.
JC Sheldon had pushed Caitlin. She had pushed Caitlin in a second quarter.
You have players like Marina Mabry and JC Sheldon taking cheap shots and refs doing little to nothing. Meanwhile, the Fever, the very team that should be building around Caitlin, is too busy juggling hardship contracts and protecting underperforming veterans.
52 points is the lowest point total that Chicago has had since 2011. So it's actually tied for the 5th lowest, apparently, in point total in team history in a regular season game. And the Indiana Fever has beaten the Chicago Sky by a combined 62 points in 2 games.
They had a player in Aari McDonald who actually brought toughness, who defended Caitlin on the court.
WNBA without Clark, league feels the hurt. Without Caitlin Clark, fan fervor's down, ticket sales are down, merchandise is down.
Who showed real chemistry with her. And still, they cut her. So ask yourself, what message does that send? It tells us that the league is struggling to adjust to its own growing spotlight. The attention is here, but the infrastructure, the officiating, the roster management, the leadership still feels stuck in the past.
Some confusion over the way this goes. I covered a hardship before in Crystal Dangerfield a few years ago, and I think 2022, the Fever had some players overseas. This was pre-prioritization rules. Danielle Robinson was not yet with the team, and I can't remember who the other player was, but they only could have Crystal Dangerfield until those players returned. Then Dangerfield left, and they had to wait to get her back until that was cleared. I've seen a lot of fans say that the Fever could just cut someone else and then just keep Aerie. That's not true. Once her Cunningham return, whether that's Tuesday or their next game after that, which I believe is their Liberty game over the weekend, so that's another 4 days. Keep that in mind when you think about returns. Then they have to let McDonald go. I think it's 10 days post-hardship, and then after that, once she's available, then they could, in theory, waive somebody to bring her in.
The game is evolving, the audience is growing, but the decision makers, they're playing catch up. In Caitlin Clark, she's in the middle of all of it. The poster girl for a league that isn't protecting her. The rising star who gets hit more than defended. And now the teammate who could have had her back, Aerie McDonald, is gone. This isn't just bad optics. This is bad business.
They were playing at the United Center in Chicago, and there was a point where Caitlin Clark was signing autographs, and there was a Chicago Sky fan trying to like sneakily get in and have Caitlin Clark sign their Chicago Sky jersey, you know, because Caitlin Clark was just kind of like going and signing. And sometimes, you know, I can only imagine with the hundreds of autographs I'm sure she signs a night.
Because as long as this league continues to ignore its biggest draw, to mistreat rising talent, and to alienate loyal fan bases with questionable roster decisions, they risk losing momentum they may never get back. The truth is, every move matters now.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball. Period.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, you know, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
The fever-cutting Aerie McDonald isn't just a basketball mistake. It's a signal that this league isn't ready for its own spotlight. And if they don't wake up fast, that spotlight might turn into a microscope. The fans are watching, the media is watching, and trust me, the clock is ticking.
Aerie McDonald stepped on the court with the rest of the Indiana Fever. It was totally the difference maker. She has been the offensive playmaker that they were needing. She has the experience and the pacing, and she just like fits in the system and she fits in the culture.
She's taking charges. You know, she's playing big minutes.
And just like that, the Indiana Fever may have made one of the biggest mistakes of their season. Cutting Aerie McDonald, a player who showed loyalty, fire, and production, is more than just a roster move. It's a message. And if the front office doesn't act fast, they might watch another team turn her into the star they failed to recognize.
She is not going to fix the problems for the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark. No guard's going to come in and do that. She's not going to come in and fix this team.
With Caitlin Clark already under fire and the team struggling to find identity, losing Aerie could be the tipping point that turns fans against the organization. Now it's your turn. Do you think the Fever made a huge mistake? Should Aerie McDonald be brought back before it's too late? And if not her, who should have been cut instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. Don't forget to like the video if you believe Aerie deserves better, subscribe to the channel for more breaking WNBA updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the drama. This story is just getting started.